Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm back in Medieval Dynasty to bring you some advanced tips and advice. That is after spending hundreds of hours in vanilla with only one adjustment, adding a few more buildings to the limit. But everything else has been ground out, and I want to bring you my knowledge, my wisdom, based upon my time in this awesome settlement survival game. All of this you see here I have created. Let's get started. As I moved from intermediate to advanced, there is no doubt in my mind that the thing that made me the most money is crops, growing wheat and flax. Flax is particularly good because you get flax seed, you get flax stalks, and you can sell both of those at the towns and villages around the map. Spend some time laying out some big crops like this. Make sure that your farm shed has got 4 people working in it. Equip them with scythes, put the right seeds, and keep the fertilizer churning over. In fact, to add to this first section, it's definitely worth having some fertilizer troughs. You can see I have got a bunch here, compost bins, where you load them up with excess food, and you get 450 rot out of those, which you can turn into fertilizer. You can then deposit that in your farming shed. Definitely worth. Focus on crops, you get a lot of money out of it. As you move into end game in Medieval Dynasty, you need to reassess your skills. The best way to do this is simply make yourself a potion of possibilities. You can see I've got one here. Drink it, and it resets all your skill points in your skills tab here. Now, the reason why you do this is because as your settlement develops, you employ people to do the jobs which you were doing at the beginning, like cutting down trees, for example, or hunting. You don't need to do that anymore once you hit the advanced level in Medieval Dynasty. People do it for you, and they deposit meat and hide and all that sort of stuff into your resources store. Now, what you do need, though, is higher rates of extraction, higher rates of farming, and you can reprogram your skills so that you benefit from gaining as many points as possible from those areas. So reassess your skill points, drink a potion of possibilities, and collect the skills that you feel are most appropriate to advancing your settlement up to the next level. The most recent update included storage units like these chests. Now, what I've done is I have put those around certain buildings where I know it's going to run out of space in the main chest. So, for example, here on the farmer's shed, I have put these around, and I'll put fertilizer and seeds in these chests around these structures so I can quickly access them. Storage becomes a real problem once your settlement is successful, and you will start filling your resource storage up, and you'll need different spaces to put things. You'll have excess metal. Why not put a chest outside your smithy? And in that way you can quickly access these things when you need to make yourself some pickaxes for your miner, say, for example. So unlocking all the buildings in game is really tricky. For me, the one that I found the hardest was production technology. Gaining points for that was particularly difficult, and the reason I think is because the other technologies like farming, survival, building, those 3, they're fun to do. You can go out and hunt, you can use your survival skills. When you're farming and you're scything away at those fields, you really gather the points very quickly, and you do that because you're worried about getting your crops in, so it becomes integral to how you play the game. But the production is making stuff. It's the grind, and it's not something you're so interested in. Now, you can build structures around your settlement that will gain you points, but you only gain a few points from what your workers do. I would recommend having a couple of smithies early on to get the production rates up on that side of things. But the best thing that I found for increasing my production points is a weird thing, but this is exactly what I found. I'm going to free up the cauldron here and have a look at this one. On the other, if you can unlock the quark and the cheese and you can make those. I found that those two particularly boosted my production skills. Making the quark, you have to have milk, so you either have to go to a cattle owner and buy the milk from them, which is what I did. I do that all the time, and I found that that was the real booster. That's my big production tip. Another good tip when it comes to grinding for production points is to, at the end of the season, we're not at the end of the season here, we've just started summer, but what I do is, and you can see there's a pile of rot down here, 1,560 rot there. I will gather a whole bunch of fish and meat, and I will stack them here on the floor, so maybe there's 3,000 or 4,000 here, and then I will pick them all up. You can't move because you're encumbered, and I'll click on the stone grate here, and I will get the meat roasting. Now this process, it then starts, and it will not turn the season over until that meat has all been roasted, which means you're gathering a whole bunch of points. Now this can take an hour to grind away in the background, just you can do something else on the computer while this is doing, but it's a really good way of grinding away some points, some production points, so you can ultimately get to that tavern. So as we've discussed, achieving the tavern is difficult, but if you do, there are definitely some benefits. You can make wine, for example, which you can sell for a pretty penny, but you also attract tradesmen into your settlement. All this time before you get to the advanced stages, you have to travel to other places where you can sell your goods, but now they will come to you. And here we have Agnes. She has some wares that she wants to sell, and of course what we can do is buy them, or we can sell a load of stuff to her and make some money. It's really cool. I love this aspect of the game, that you actually get traders come into your settlement. You are now on the map for these people to visit. As the children in your settlement become teenagers and they turn 14, at that point they can become an apprentice. And I have found this very useful. You can up your production, and what you do is, you'll see it if you go into your management tabs, you go to buildings, if you go to say the windmill here, let's have a look. That's got an apprentice already. Let's find something else. If we go to the hunting lodge, we have an empty slot here for an apprentice. So you click on that, and it brings up a list of people who can be apprentices. And you can see I've got a few to fill in here. If you go to the skill that this particular building requires, you can click on that, and it will list them down in from highest to lowest, and select one that is good. And one of the nice things about the children that grow up in the village, they're really skilled. You've honed them. They're the best workers. You can see their stats are really high. Just select a worker, it plops in there, and this will add benefit to that particular building, and it trains them up in that skill, ready for when they're 18 to then take on that role. You can see here my hunter's lodge needs knives. I will be adding some of those in very soon. When I'm out and about, there are a couple of things that I like to pick up that I find are probably the most awkward things to grow or build. Things that I'm just because I've got so much money now, it's just easier for me to buy. And one of those things is,
hail friend, best goods in the valley,
animal feed and milk. So if I'm grinding for points, I'll pick up the milk. If it's animal feed, then it's just much easier, because you need rye and oat and straw, and it's just a pain back at the base when you're focusing on things like wheat and flax. So I always buy the animal feed. And
see you soon.
The other thing that I like to pick up is, we're at another settlement here. Let's click on her.
Trade is in my nature.
Rag dolls and toys. So the thing about rag dolls is you can gift them to the children in your village. It raises morale, and you also get extra reputation points, which are vital if you want to lure more people to your settlement. You have to have a certain total, and the more reputation points, the more people you can have in your village. So During mid-game, you're selling a lot of stuff around the map because you want to make some money and pay your taxes and all that malarkey, but that becomes by the by as you move into the advanced stages, and you start gathering resources that you're struggling to sell or carry. The answer to that is building market stalls. Now these are really cool. I'm developing a little market square here on the edge of the village, and you can sell all that stuff that is gathering in your storage barn, your storage resources storage, and it really helps. You get like a flow of cash going into the resources storage, and you can just take that out, and you'll find you can shift some of the weight from the storage areas. I'm probably going to have maybe 7, 8 or 9 of these stalls in this area if I can. Maybe clear some trees out, put some more stalls along here. I find it's very useful to help shift the capacity, and I think it's important to acknowledge that once you hit the end phase, end game of Medieval Dynasty, it's more about settlement management than individual management. You don't head out into the world to do much anymore. Everything is in your settlement. You're self-sufficient. You generally make everything that you need. It's more about making sure that tools are available, that your capacity and your storage isn't full. It's about the mood of your people, making it a more plush environment, adding walls, making them feel happier. It's a very different stage of the game, and I think it's fabulous. This game has provided something that I have not had in any other game. It's truly unique, and I think that the developers they deserve a lot of credit for creating what is almost a new genre. The way that they have expanded out the survival building genre, this has taken it to the next level for me. I cannot recommend this game enough, but with that recommendation comes along patience. You have to be patient. You have to grind. Resist adjusting all the game settings so that it's easier, so you gain more experience more quickly. Grind it, make it. It's so worth it. I have sunk so much time into this settlement that it is just like my second home. I know where everything is. It feels special to me. I've seen YouTubers that up the settings so they get everything really quickly. What is the point? This game is about the long grind. You have to acknowledge it. If that's not for you, then this game won't be for you. But it is so worth it. Having sunk thousands of hours into many other games, this has given me something that is different, that is unique. Highly recommend it. So guys, there are my tips for advanced level Medieval Dynasty. If you want to see the intermediate tips, there's a lot more there. You can see it on the screen here, and there's also beginners tips. Get in there, explore this game, understand the world. I'm looking forward to expansions. They're bound to expand the map out, add more towns and settlements, more items and all sorts of things, and when they do, I will bring it to you here whenever they do a new update. I'm also going to be doing a village tour so you can see exactly what I've got inside my settlement. Guys, thanks for watching. If you found this useful, click the thumbs up. If you've got any comments, add them down below, or if you're not subscribed already, then why not? Go ahead. That would be awesome if you could. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you very soon.